This video is sponsored by Into the AM. Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 216. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where we're talking about painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, I got a little tiny bit of things done for my Kroot Army. Games Workshop showed off what knights are getting, and I played against the new Death Rattle Skeleton Spearhead. But first, have you ever been gaming over your friend's house and thought to yourself, man, I don't look as cool as my models do? Well, Into the AM has got you covered, literally, with their clothing. Into the AM is here to give you that look and feel you've always looked for. They offer a huge selection of every kind of clothing you could need: shirts, denim jeans, joggers, briefs, flannels, jackets, and their item I love the most, graphic tees. T-shirts like the Infinity Explorer graphic tee. This one has a sweet melancholy feel to it. Bourbon Voyage pullover hoodie. This one's really nice and warm. Heart of the Wild graphic tee. My Smoky Mountain parents really love this one. And the Space Saga vintage tee. It's got that retro vibe. All their art is incredibly detailed and vibrant with great printing. They have an absolute ton of graphic tees for you to choose from, and more coming out all the time. Right now, they're happily showing off their stretch fit jeans. These denim jeans are the perfect choice for the active person on the go who wants to look and feel good while going. There's always some kind of a sale going on, and right now, if you follow the link in the description, you can get an additional 10% off your order from us. Go now and get your new style today. Imperial Knights are one of the more fun factions of Warhammer 40,000. They are the Giants, and I actually remember when Knights got revealed. I was in high school. I was hiding in one of the computer labs because there was an assembly, but they didn't actually like figure out who was at the assembly, so you could just not show up. And so I was looking on one of the school computers, and the Knights just like came into existence, and it was pretty cool. I think 2 years later, maybe a little less, I got an Imperial Knight, my first Imperial Knight. The Imperial Knights are pretty awesome, but the new Knight Codex coming out, I was really wondering what the Knights were going to get, and they kinda sorta got a new Knight. But don't get too excited, it's just one new sprue with some new bits. Some kinda cool new bits, but it's not a brand spanking new Knight. Some people were speculating that it was gonna be some kind of an infantry unit because Knights do tend to struggle with like board control and doing actions and stuff. And so that I'm kind of glad that they didn't get any sort of infantry, because my ideal Knight army is just giant, big, stompy robots. I don't even like the armigers because they just fill in all of the gaps of the Knights. They're kind of too cheap for what they are, which makes them really good to ally into other Imperium armies. But you know, you only have 3 or 4 models on the board. It's really hard to do all of the things an army needs to do in Warhammer 40,000. So the Armiger just fills in all of those gaps. It gives you something relatively cheap to take that can go run and stand on objectives, or do secondary mission actions, or just do all of the things a normal army would do. But that stops Knights from being Knights. If Games Workshop wanted my opinion, and they don't because the Codex just came out and this isn't in the Codex, but I think Knights, they should actually decrease the power level of Knights, but increase the number of things they get to do. And I think a really easy way to do that would be actually to give them more activations in the opponent's turn. I think if every Knight, or maybe once per battle, like in each phase of the battle, one Knight could do a free move, one Knight could do a free shoot, and one Knight could do a free charge in your opponent's turn, I think that would give you so many more things to do. It would make your Knight so much more powerful, and it would really make your opponent have to second guess and think, well, what are you gonna do? Like, how am I gonna prepare for the things that you may or may not do in my turn? I think that would make Knights much more interesting to play against, because right now, they're kind of just great stats across the board, great guns across the board, rerolls on every single dice you throw in the game. Everything just kind of works out for the Knights, but you don't get to throw many dice. That's kind of how Knights work. And the new Knight is interesting. It's built on the normal Knight, the normal Knight body plan, not the big, the Knight Castellan. So like 3-up save, 22 wounds, pretty good. But the new sprue has a Mega Plasma gun a Volkite gun, and a Void Shield generator. The Void Shield generator has me nervous because Knights already have really, really good saving throws and are really hard to kill with their 5-up invuln, and they usually get 1 reroll a turn, so you just reroll your damage dice in the hopes of blanking a shot. A Void Shield making their saves even better, and supposedly according to this article, the Void Shield generator is going to be able to reach out and give the save benefit to other models nearby. So hopefully this knight doesn't become too problematic. It's also just kind of funny looking to have the Void Shield just sitting right on top like a little hat. It's kind of big and hilarious looking. And then, like, I know that the power of Warhammer 40,000, like the physical thing that provides power, is very nebulous. But I feel like a Void Shield probably takes an unbelievable amount of power. So it's a little bit hard to believe that he can have 2 giant energy weapons and a Void Shield, and it all feeds off of the little AA battery in his back. The plasma gun is kind of cool. The Knight Castellan already has the plasma decimator, and I assume that this will also just be a plasma decimator. The plasma decimator is just a regular plasma gun, but instead of 2 shots or 1 shot rapid fire one, it's D3 plus. It's D6 plus 3 blast. So usually like 6 shots, which is pretty darn good for plasma. And this is probably going to be something similar. I have no idea what the Volkite is going to do. Like, is it just like a super las cannon? I don't know. I'm really interested to see what that weapon does. Oh, and it has little underslung flamethrowers. Underslung flamethrower, actually really, really nice. Some of the other Knight weapons have this too. But it makes Overwatch really, really powerful. Overwatching with a flamethrower where you're skipping the hit so you don't have to only be hitting on 6s is really, really powerful and can sometimes be a little oppressive when you're playing Dark Eldar like I am. And all of a sudden guardsmen are wiping your squads in Overwatch before they get there. It's poopy sometimes. Other than this new version of a Knight, you're getting 4 detachments, which is not the right number. The right number is 8, because Chaos got 8. Everything typically gets 6 detachments, but games are just make a lot of detachments. It's just words. There's no cap. You can do as much as you want. But apparently Knights get 4 detachments, which is fine. I mean, it's better than 1 from the Index, and I guess 1 from Grotmis. But just write more detachments. Why not? Live a little. I'm interested to play against Imperial Knights again. I've played against them a few times and lost horribly because they're a little bit of a stat check army. If you can't deal with like 100 wounds of toughness 11, 3-up save, it's just you're not gonna chew through all of those knights. And I've actually never played against Chaos Knights, which now that we've got the Imperial Knight Codex out, I'm assuming that the Chaos Knight Codex is following right behind, and then after that, we're gonna get the Black Templar Codex. Oh, and I'm excited for the Black Templars Codex. How are they gonna make the best Space Marines even better? Or are they not gonna manage to do it? And are all of us players still gonna be running Righteous Crusade Index Detachment? Which honestly, that'd be kind of fine, especially if some of our units get like reshuffled. Black Templars, our units keep going up in points, which is probably fair because they're really good, but they're not that good. The big problem is Space Marine survivability. Space Marines are the peerless warriors of humanity, absolutely indestructible monstrosities. Everything is so good at killing Space Marines. Flat damage 2, flat damage 3 is all over the place. Looking at the new Death Guard Codex, the Death Guard are going to be really, really, really good at killing Space Marines. Plague Marines went up to toughness 6. It's disgusting. Disgustingly resilient. In Age of Sigmar, the Soulblop Bleep Blops got their new, I don't know what the Age of Sigmar word for codex is, but they got some new fancy skeleton minis, and I played against the new skeleton Spearhead. Now, I'm really glad that Sean got the skeleton Spearhead because he has the vampire, just the regular vampire Spearhead, and it's oppressive. It's really, really, really good. The Blood Knights, will kill they'll kill anything in the game on the charge statistically. The few times that I have won against the Soul Blop Bleep Blop Spearhead is when he's failed his charges and the horsies just stand there. But they're really, really good. And you got the Batmans standing in strategic reserve, waiting to come on turn 3, and they're also really good. I had a game with my Ogre Maw tribes who got nerfed recently, and I performed valiantly, and at the end of turn 3, the rest of my army comes on the board, which is the majority of the army because ogres are a little bit OP, and I absolutely wiped the vampires from the map. But I scored so badly in turn 1 and 2 that it did not matter. I wasn't able to come back. I scored 8 points, and I still didn't manage to get the win. But the new skeleton spearhead is better, meaning it's worse. It's a little bit worse seemingly than the current vampire spearhead, but not by too much. Now, to be fair, I was playing the Fire Slayers, which are a little underpowered. They can spike really, really hard sometimes, and I actually managed to almost table the Nurgle faction. Magakin of Nurgle, which is one of the tankiest spearheads in the game. I almost killed him to a man, but I still lost the game. I got curb stomped by the new skeleton spearhead, but it was fun. I would say my one little critique of the new spearhead is the cavalry have reinforce and a resurrection mechanic, and the resurrection mechanic is probably the best one in the game. Instead of having to roll for it or getting them back in your command phase or getting to suck the life energy out of the unit that you're attacking, you just get a new horsey back at the end of every turn. Now, that doesn't sound as exciting as all the other ways to get a model back, but it's actually you just get it. You just get 3 wounds back at the end of every turn. And that's so good. I killed 4 out of 5 horses. He ended the game with 5 horses because they just kept coming back to life. And there is a card that lets you bring back a squad. Oh, wait a second. They have reinforce. So that card wouldn't let you bring them back to life. Do they have reinforce? They must have reinforce. Either way, it's basically impossible to kill the horses. Now, the horses do not hit as hard as other horses, which is good. Cavalry is king in Spearhead. Cav infantry they're just so wickedly good. But overall, I much prefer playing against the new Death Rattle skeletons than the old Soulblight Gravelord vampires. Those Blood Knights. I don't like those Blood Knights. But speaking of things I like a whole lot, I have been slowly but steadily working on my Kroot Army. I'm doing a Kroot Army this year. My goal is to have 2,000 points. I think my list has 80 Kroot in it, and then a smattering of other things. And when I was just looking at the army on sprue laid out in front of me, I'm like, it's not that much. I bet I can get this done in a somewhat reasonable time frame. I've managed to get 15 more Kroot and 2 Krootox riders assembled. And I was able to find my other Finecast Krootox rider, and I got it all put together. And I once again tried to use the extra bits from the new Games Workshop Krootox rider, the little quills on the head. And so I put the quills on this guy, and I sculpted a new back of his head, and it turned out really, really good. The first time I did this, it was kind of a little hit or miss. I wasn't super satisfied with it, but if you can believe it, I did better on a second try. I think this guy is looking real spicy, and I'm really excited to have some old school Warhammer in my brand spanking new Kroot Army. The old stuff I like, and especially when I get to have the new and the old, and they kind of look about right. The old one it's a little bit thinner in every proportion, but it's not necessarily smaller. So I really, really like these guys. I'm planning on having 4 Krootox riders, 2 squads of 2 in my army, which seems like the right number. I could bump that up to 3 because as good as the Rampagers are, and the Rampagers are the close combat version of the Krootox rider, they're really, really good. There's some of the best damage potential in the Kroot. They do tons of mortal wounds on the charge, but these guys have guns. And they're okay guns. Strength 7, I think AP 1, damage 1 or 2. I hope it's 2, because then I'm killing Space Marines. And just like everything else in 40k, I want to be good at killing Space Marines. But just having their guns, and then they also have the Kroot fists, which are good. So kind of going back and forth. I need to play in Tabletop Simulator a little bit more to really get a feel for these different units and what they do. But I think the Kroot Riders might be the sleeper hit of the Kroot Codex, which is actually the Tau Codex. Now that I got these guys built, I can hopefully get them painted. Actually, I have to build all the bases. One thing I forgot, because last year I was working on Dark Eldar so much and I custom casted all my bases. So the bases were kind of sort of taken care of for me. Building all of the bases takes a long time with the epic basing bits and the putty and the sand and getting all the magnets in the bases. It's definitely taken me some time, but I'm still somewhat hopeful that I can get my Kroot done in a relatively timely fashion. There's a couple of 40k armies that I want to play like competitively, because I know there's some RTs coming up at my local store, and so Necrons, I may or may not have bought some Necron stuff to get my army exactly how I want it to play in some competitive events. And then I'm kind of thinking Death Guard. I might have been painting some Death Guard recently, and I have 2,000 points of Death Guard. It's not the right 2,000 points. I've kind of been doing a lot of the bigger boys. Gotta bring Morty, gotta bring some vehicles, gotta bring the plague drones. What are they called? The fetid bloat drones. The fetid bloat drones, I like the fetid bloat drones, and they got the lawnmower attachment, which is actually called, no, it's called a flesh mower, but it's a lawnmower. So I got some room before I really want my Kroot on the battlefield, but I do want to be getting a move on with my Kroot army. And you know what else I want to be getting a move on with? EonsOfBattle.com. EonsOfBattle.com is the place to find our merch, like the Nick and Jay dice, and is the best way to support us doing what we do with a membership. Each month, members get a credit that they can use on our new monthly terrain packs or any previous pack we have ever made. This May, we're delving back into the Hungry Maw with the Infested Colony, a world recently ravaged by the chitinous teeth and claws of the Endless Swarm. A series of ruined buildings crumbling under the weight of hypercharged plant growth and impaled by alien limbs. And shipping containers that have been ripped to shreds or torn apart from the inside out. These relics of an alien war are designed with competitive wargaming in mind and an eye for storytelling, matching perfectly with our previous alien hive colony. With this set, you can build a wargaming table dripping with alien atmosphere. I have absolutely oodles and oodles of Warhammer 40,000 to be working on right now, which is kind of good because right now we got Knights, and then, in a week or two, we're gonna get the pre-order for Knights. Then we're gonna get some teases for Chaos Knights, and then, a week or two, we get the Chaos Knights, and then we're gonna get the Black Templar, because I might have to drop everything when the Black Templar gets something. And sure, it'll probably be one singular character, but I'm gonna get that one singular character. It would have to be really, really, really bad for me not to want the new Black Templar character. And this isn't even a rumor. This is just something someone said. So I guess it is a rumor. It's gonna be a Terminator Castellan, or maybe a Terminator Marshal. But either way, I'm really looking forward to it. I gotta get a lot of painting done so that I can have some free time to work on the Black Templar. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to click on the link in the description to get a cool Into the AM shirt today.